Blake, you can start with the first question, then we can go from there. Sound good?
Sure. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll figure it out.
Sounds good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of The Exchange. As you can see, we have His Worship Mayor Philip Brown on the line. We're practicing our quarantine, I guess, as you could say. We're social distancing and calling in from video conference. We're welcomed by the mayor, and we're happy to have him on today's episode of The Exchange.
Thanks very much, Sam, and great to have you here, Your Worship. Why don't you tell us what you're doing today and how you're adapting to this new isolation environment? Are you isolated?
Well, Sam and Blake, very much I'm appreciative of allowing this to happen because this is one way a lot more people can or will communicate by video conferencing. So it's a technology I believe that will develop more, and the picture and the audio will be more refined to make video conferencing take place anywhere in the world. So that's the beauty of this today.
Yeah, and I think, this is in our office, we have remotely dispersed. We're still open. All our team are still working, and we're using tools like this to collaborate and interact and keep processes going. So anyway, we're glad you joined us. One of the big concerns we have, we're hearing a lot, certainly in all of the capital cities, this COVID-19 and how it's affecting everything from commerce to interactions to civil society. What's happening at the city? Do you have any sort of in this very early days, I'm still sure you're still working through it with council, but what is the plan to manage this from the cities?
I believe that I believe the province, Blake and Sam, has taken the right direction. One of the first to claim the island as a state of emergency, and that has put in a lot of mechanisms. For example, here at the city, all our public facilities, public buildings have been shut down to the public. All the arenas have been shut down. All the public parks have been shut down. And I try to attend every morning at 9 a.m. the municipal EMO meetings. And those meetings concentrate on how to keep Charlottetown residents safe and secure. And I have great trust in what they're doing. But the common theme, Blake and Sam, is social distancing and shelter in place or staying at home. They are pushing that and pushing it so that people will get the message. I'm sure you saw over the weekend different images from Vancouver and other parts of the country, and in Montreal, for example, where people were out in the parks, sitting down on benches, not respecting the 2-meter rule, and our officials on the municipal EMO are stating it clearly and repeatedly: stay your distance, 2 meters, and stay at home. And if you have to go out for essential services. And if you're sick, stay home.
So the function of the city is still able to conduct business in this environment. Are people working from home? Have you given people time to stay away? Or any services affected that people might want to know about?
And Blake, that was a concern about one of the concerns I had from a technical part. Did we have the broadband to allow our employees to stay home? Our technical director, John Donahue, has said, look, we can go up to 200 VPNs, which is virtual private networks. So 200 of our workers can stay home and still our system will be safe from any cyber attack. And as for what we're doing as a community, yesterday I went down to the bank and walked down Queen Street from City Hall down to the bank. And residents, people are keeping their distance. Hardly anybody's on the street. It's somewhat airy, but you know what? I know that people are respecting the protocols that have been sent out by the provincial and federal governments. So I think we're heeding to the warning, but I really want to make it clear that social distancing is what we're trying to promote. And just something local, there's been a call to close down that inside lane out at Victoria Park. Right now, there's 2 lanes of traffic. So right. I've been bringing that up at our municipal EMO meeting to say, look, shut her down and let's get more social. And that will be a way to create the image
space
that we are promoting social distancing. And I'm asking people if they need exercise, walk in their neighborhoods. But again, keep that 2-meter distance. Don't congregate. Don't come together and share stories. You can share stories just like we're doing right here now.
Exactly. And I think you guys are from a different vintage than I am, but my generation.
Oh, look at this Sam. Young, huh?
My generation maybe didn't see that as scary in the beginning, and I think once I guess the bar scene closed down and restaurants closed, then they started to say, okay, maybe I should. But there's still, I know a lot of some of my, not I shouldn't say a lot of my friends, but some of my friends are still going out and even meeting up at houses or meeting up at to have a few beers at their own house. But I think now it's finally kind of getting engraved in our thick skulls. You might say that okay, it's serious. Stay home or and keep the congregations to a minimal, so that you can flatten the curve and avoid the outbreak to go any further.
But Sam, if you recall last week, the images from Fort Lauderdale with the March breakers down there, and the interviews that were conducted by ABC, CBS News, young people were saying, "Hey, I don't care about COVID-19. I'm all right," but not thinking that when you go back home, you could be affecting a mother, a grandmother, friends in your neighborhood,
Exactly.
and so forth. So
a nurse or doctor.
I was 19 at one time, 24 at one time. You know what? We all think we're invincible, but it's really hitting home. And Alec and his friends went out the other night, and they made sure that they sat at 2 meters apart from each other, just having a few beers. So they're getting the message. The message is getting through. It's just that we don't, it's no good waiting for it to happen. We know what's going to happen. And as was stated this morning in our municipal EMO, this could be the calm before the storm, but we're taking the precautions and we're ensuring that people are doing the right things. Social distancing, shelter in place, and if you're sick, stay home. The essential services will remain open. You don't have to go out and get everything at once. The supply chain to the grocery stores, pharmacies will remain intact.
So you have plenty of toilet paper. Then you're all good for that department.
I could take lots of showers too.
That's an option too.
Now you have to pay for the water.
Oh no, on the water side, one thing municipalities, Blake, were responsible for: police, fire. Both of those systems are insecure. They're in a ready mode to go at a moment's call. Water and sewer, you can drink your water, you can flush your toilet. That's all working fine. Public Works have duty crews out. Parks and Recreation are providing any of the services that will be necessary to allow park users to continue to enjoy the outside surroundings, whether it's at Victoria Park or in their neighborhood park. So all municipal services are working very well. And as for water and sewer, we're probably going to come out with a decision that if you can't pay your water bill for this quarter, you will not be penalized by a interest on your bill. And those are small little things that we can do, those little efforts that make life a little easier.
But that should provide a lot of comfort to people who, if a water main breaks, the city is still there. Public Works are going to make the repairs. And I think you're going to see more and more organizations, from banks to the governments, allow for these accommodations. And certainly that's great news to hear that you might be relaxing some of your demands on fees and services. So it's good.
And I'm sure that you saw on Twitter and Facebook about the whole issue of parking meters. And I brought it up last week. I said, look, guys, these meter hornets, just tell them to back off because the sting is too much. Let's give a little more compassion over profit. And I think we've laid off 3 of the 4 meter hornets, I call them. And right now we have one person going on. And that person is really just ensuring that no one blocks driveways. No one's parking in a disabled parking space. That's why you need someone to ensure that there is some rule or law of order.
That's good. Now, I know Sam is considered an essential service, so we aren't allowing him to leave his quarantine. But it's good to know that if people are in the city, that you're not going to get dinged, and you can still have a little bit of mobility as long as you're safe, keeping your distance, staying healthy.
And that's the key. And all weekend on all the news networks, they kept repeating it: social distancing, shelter in place. If you're sick, stay home. If you cough in your arm because it causes no harm. If you're like me, I love to shake hands, kiss babies. As I said last week in the report, can't do that anymore. I'm going to miss that. But that's the world we're living in, and this is the new normal for now.
Sorry, bit of a jump.
Just run out of questions.
Yeah, the internet's a little spotty. So I guess on a lighter note, we won't keep you too much longer, Your Worship. But what would one of your favorite isolation activities be if you're stuck at home for 2 weeks?
Oh, I knew you'd ask that, Sam. I knew you would. But you know what? I I love to watch TV, and my wife said, Philip, this is a time for you to get into reading. So I'm going to start reading more, taking a novel and reading some more, or just having a couple of beer and watching Netflix or my favorite news program, CBC The National.
Or the
Man,
exchange.
you can watch. Go. You can back and listen to our podcast too if you want.
I will. I will.
Well, I think that's great, Your Worship. I was really delighted to hear that it's business as usual, even in these very unusual circumstances. The city continues to operate. The staff are doing what they need to keep the citizens safe,
Yeah.
and our services continuing. So, any messages out there to the citizens? Anybody who might be concerned or just wondering what's happening? Any final thoughts?
Listen, my number, Ronnie made sure that he put my home number, my cell phone number, my email up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So if people want to call me or Facebook me or send me a tweet, I'm open for that. And I'm sure that all the councils in the city are open to any kind of messaging or call out that residents want to express within the city of Charlottetown. And again, let's stay in contact. And I hope, as I said, Blake, this is a great way of getting this platform to be more efficient, a much more better form of communicating. And one other thing I can say is that because we promote multiculturalism so much, and which is a great thing, I think it's beautiful, but at the same time, we have all these different standards of hygiene and health. I think after COVID-19, we're going to see a lot more standardization of how we see health and hygiene in our communities. So that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Maybe vaccinations. I don't know if everyone agrees with that, but you would probably have vaccinations for this coronavirus as well. Thanks very much, Your Worship. I know you've got a lot to do and you're very busy. I really appreciate you taking the time to connect to the citizens, and we'll share this, and really delighted that people can have comfort. Life continues and we're disrupted, but moving forward.
Thank you very much, Blake. And Sam, stay safe and keep your distance.
I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Take care.